Because all they care about is a phony investigation where the report was written, it said no collusion. The report was written, and the Attorney General, based on the report, was easily able to find there was no obstruction. There's no nothing. They're wasting their time.
The president says he will not be watching former Special Counsel Robert Mueller's back-to-back testimony on Wednesday, but you can be sure a lot of people will be tuning in. He's the national security and law enforcement reporter with The Washington Post. Pleased to welcome tonight Devlin Barrett to come on off script. Thank you so much for your time. Obviously talking about Bob Mueller and his expected testimony on Wednesday. What do you say to anyone who thinks that there might be fireworks during this testimony?
Well, I suspect there might be some fireworks, in particular because of the way Congress works these days. I think there's going to be, unquestionably a fair bit of congressional grandstanding. I think the question is, to what degree does Mueller engage with that? He has a track record of being a pretty calm and deliberate guy in hearings, but you can, rile him up sometimes, and he has shown flashes of anger over the years at congressional hearings.
I think one of the key questions that Democrats are going to angle towards is trying to find out and elicit from him, would he have charged Donald Trump if he was not the president? And I'm sure that's a question that he is anxious to avoid.
Right. I mean, he wrote basically 448 pages of specifically not directly answering that question. And so I think Democrats hope that they can draw him out a little bit more on that point, but I think that's probably a reach. I doubt he's going to go there. Having said that, the challenge of this is, right, you have many hours of testimony, and at some point does he just say things in a new way or in a slightly different way that gives people something to run with?
Do you suspect that during the entirety of his testimony, both the Republicans and the Democrats are going to be searching for either a damning or an exonerating soundbite?
Oh, sure. I mean, I think that's what congressional hearings are usually. And if you certainly look at the hearings that have happened leading up to this point, over the Russia investigation in particular, you've seen a lot of lawmakers searching for sort of an aha moment or a gotcha moment. And I expect we'll see more of that here. I think the difference is no one has really brought the kind of gravitas to a hearing that Mueller brings. And the question is, what will it look like when that gravitas comes up against, sort of the intensity and the, frankly, emotional nature of some of these congressional questioners?
We've seen in the lead up to this that obviously Bob Mueller doesn't want to be there. He went out and gave his one and only press conference saying, let the report speak for itself. So he is begrudgingly appeasing the members of Congress by appearing. So do we expect for him to just stand between the lines and constantly refer back to the report, or is there any suspicion that he'll stray from that? That's obviously what both sides want.
I think there's an interesting history to Bob Mueller in which some lawmakers learned over the years that if you push him hard enough the right way, politely, clearly, but repeatedly, he sometimes does give in, and he sometimes will answer a question that he had previously refused to answer. You see that in particular in a hearing back in 2007 when a lawmaker who yelled at him got nowhere, but a lawmaker who just kept pressing him respectfully but forcefully actually got Mueller to reverse himself and offer real answers.
Even though there might not be fireworks, might not be a smoking gun, one thing that everyone can agree on is it's definitely going to be must-see TV. Devlin Barrett in the Washington Post newsroom, thank you.
Thanks for having me.